Hello, everybody. So, welcome back to another reading of the tarot cards. In this video, I'm going to be reading three tarot cards in reference to the past, and then three tarot cards in reference to the future. Now, I'm going to be focusing on the weeks. So, if you're watching this on a weekend, like a Sunday, this is going to be a reading for last week. Any events that happened last week, I'm going to be explaining why they happened, what happened, and at the end of the video, I'm going to be reading for the future week, right? So this upcoming week, what's happening, why it's going to happen, right? And what it means. So in between these two readings, I'm going to be also defining some terms which I think are important in philosophy and in psychology. So stick around for that. I'm going to be talking about what I have learned from these topics and then what I think about each one of these topics, right? I almost dropped the cards. Okay, so we're gonna do this dynamic where you choose a number, uh, either one, two, or three, right? So think about the number right now, one, two, or three. What number do you want? And I'm going to be pulling out the first card, all right? So let's see here. The first card is success in business, and we have three cups. Now, three is the number of creation. So what this card basically means is that in this past week, you did something creative in relation to an emotional situation that had to do with business. So this means that you were successful in an endeavor. Now it could have been a business project, but since it's the cups, we are talking about something emotional. It has a level 3 intensity, which isn't that intense, but it did have a lot to do. And we see here, there's a little image of a person holding their stomach. So this project that you did, it may have taken a toll on you. So it means that emotionally this weekend you feel a little drained, but also satisfied, and especially satisfied emotionally because now you're in a good place because you were successful in the business area. Now, three is creation. So this means that there was a high level of creativity, especially emotional, and the situation happened because you wanted to feel that sensation. We could even attribute it to like adrenaline. So it may have made you feel good, right? Like you got that shot of adrenaline, which made you feel good. So it is a good card emotionally. It is something that was in your control also because it's a minor arcana. So, like I explained, the major arcanas were the ones that had to do with situations that were out of your control. This one has to do with a situation that was in your control. And you were successful in the business area. Okay, if you chose two, here we go. This is protection. Okay, and this is the first one that we get as a major arcana. So a major arcana means that this was not in your control. If you chose number two, it means that there is some type of protection, and it is the reverse side. It's reverse. So the upside would be support. So kind of taking off from that idea, it's number seven. So number seven, protection. It means that you needed to protect yourself spiritually from something. So it could have been like someone trying to throw a hex on you or trying to cause you harm, right? Like people that can cause you harm because they're jealous or they have envy. And with the eyes, they will say something, right? Look at you. And then, so in this case, you needed that protection. Um, but it's very interesting because this protection came to you from the universe, right? Or from God or from the creator. So it was something that you needed, you received it, and it protected you. in some type of situation that was maybe harmful, because it is backwards. So that does mean that it was negative. It was a negative situation, but in this case, you were able to be protected and not harmed. Seven is the number that deals with spirituality, with wisdom, right? So we can even say that the universe was wise to give you this protection, and you were also changed and maybe transformed. If you become conscious of this, it could have the potential to give you wisdom and experience. So yeah, this was something that came to you from the outside. All right, if you chose number three, let's see. This one is extravíos, which means being lost. Now, this one has to do with the sword, so it is something mental, and it has level 3 intensity. So again, we're working around the notion of creation. This basically means that you were able to think of something that had it didn't have that much of an intensity because it's number 3, but you were able to think about this, and excuse me, you were trying to be creative, but it actually led you to be lost. So this is very typical when you want to embark on a creative endeavor, like you want to maybe develop a new project, you're thinking about it, right? But the mind can also play tricks on you, and if you think so much about something, you become lost. Now, this could also mean that what you were doing or what you were trying to do basically led you to doubt yourself, right? Like overthinking, I can't do it, I don't seem to be able to have the resources, right, to do this activity, which is creative. And by not being able to go forward with it, you become lost, you become stuck. So it's not lost in the sense of, I don't know where I am, but lost in the sense of being stuck and not being able to move forward. This was in your control this past week. But yeah, it basically led you to feel and become lost because of this mental idea that you had going on in your mind, right? So let's just get into the second reading of the tarot for this next week, right? And I think next week I'll do another reading and I'll define the psychological terms. All right. So again, pick a number 1 to 3. This is for this upcoming week, right? What is something that's going to happen in this upcoming week to you and what it means. Okay, so you got it, 1, 2, or 3. This is number 1, fortune and dignity. So it's the wheel of fortune. It's a major arcana. So this major arcana means that that's going to happen is not in your control at all. This is something either circumstantial or because of other people that are out there making this happen over you, but it's a good thing. It's something that is going to come in the way of like flowing, kind of like a rolling, because it does have the wheel, right? And it's kind of like when you spin the wheel of fortune and you get like a good thing, right? Like I just spin a wheel yesterday and I won 200 pesos, but I wasn't able to spend them, so that was kind of tricky. But in this case, this fortune that you're gonna get is tied in with dignity, which means that maybe there's also going to be something that's going to make you feel good, feel worthy, maybe even to receive more of it in the future. So it's not something that, you may receive the preconditions to receive more in the future, right? And in this case, the wheel of fortune is blind. So it does mean that it's something that maybe you can't see yet, or when it happens, you may not be able to see it. But it's kind of like the notion of justice is blind, right? Where you are chosen just randomly, right? It's not, and this is kind of hard to do, but it does happen. It's hard for this to happen because most of the time when something is beneficial, there's a lot of attention paid to it, right? Like if someone's gonna receive money, people are like, let's make sure it's the people that are the right people receive this, right? But in this case, it is something that is fortunate, but it's kind of like random, and you're chosen, right? Okay, so if you pick number 2, here we go. Change, and it's backwards, the cup. You're going to be um and it's one, like I mentioned, is either unity or it's the lowest rank, right? But according to this, I see an emotional change coming this upcoming week for you. Well, first of all, I see change for you. And this change could be, or, well, it is emotional. Now, it is backwards, so there may be some defiance, there may be some um, type of conflict here. They say change is always good, and this is not the case. Change could be bad, it could be good too. And in terms of emotional, I mean, if you don't really like to feel emotional, then this is not going to be a good week for you, because you are going to be feeling this change on emotional terms. Now, if you're a person that says, oh, I like the adrenaline, I like to feel emotion, then this is good for you, especially if you're one that likes to feel and that likes to change, which I don't think that goes hand in hand. People that feel typically aren't people that like change, right? They like comfort. But this could be something that it's not necessarily good or bad. I guess this is just going to depend on how you are and the type of person that you are. Basically, if you like to feel the change. Oh, and it's also number 1, which is a beginning. So this is the beginning of something. It could be in terms of a relationship also, which is very common to think about when we talk about emotional, right? You don't really feel emotion when you're at work. Well, you do, but in different terms. But it could be the beginning of a romantic relationship. It could be the beginning of maybe like a passion for something, right? Or it could be the beginning of like being single after a breakup, right? Because that's also emotional, or having to leave something that you love behind, right? Okay, and let's go with the last one, number 3. It's blonde woman, right? And this is a minor arcane. Now, it's number 13, so this is a combination between unity and creativity, which is 1 and 3. It's intense. This is intense. And the woman ultimately is a symbol for chaos, which is the potential in creativity. Now, I would dare say this is very good. This is something that will ultimately lead you to great emotions, great feelings. You're going to be feeling awesome, basically, because it's an emotional dimension. It's very intense. Um, and since it has 3 of creativity, you're going to be wanting to focus specifically on your creative intentions and your creative projects, right? Because this is a very good week for you in terms of like your emotions and everything that come with it. Now, why is it blonde? Blonde is the symbol of gold, right? Of basically wealth, of earnings, of success. So, but it does have a chaotic element to it, which is also a creative element. So you are going to want to focus on those things in particular, because, and it's completely up to you. But if you do focus on that this week, um, it could potentially bring wealth, right? Bring prosperity. If not so much on physical and monetary financial terms, it will be on emotional terms, right? Great feelings of like, I don't know, even pride, excellence, right? Discipline, all of these like good emotions that come with being creative and being a person that is unified ultimately, because it has the one, right? So you're unified. It has that. See, the thing about the numbers is like the first set of numbers is like one level. The second set of numbers, right? Like the 10, 11, 12 is a second level. So this is a next level thing, and it's a new beginning. It's unity, and you're being creative. So it's a very good card. Well, that's all I got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, I'll be reading 3 more cards for the past and 3 more for the future. And I'll be finishing up with the terms to define, but the psychological ones, all right? So I'll see you guys next video. All right, peace.